And welcome to another edition of Pop It. It's a pop culture game show where I have 5 topics. Each guest gets 30 seconds to give their opinion. And I am joined once again by the rich panel. These guys are phenomenal. We had one of the best times ever. I'm so glad all 3 are back. We got Brendan, we got Haley, we got Joanna. So without further ado, we got to start off with probably the juiciest thing that happened last month. Bang Bang on Twitter. Jessie J was just saying how Nicki Minaj heard the song Bang Bang and wanted to jump on it. And Miss Minaj said that's not what happened. She is not the song police, and she disputes that claim. And it was a little drama, a little beef going. Is this petty, or is Nicki just clearing up the facts? Brendan, let's start with you.
Well, I want to start off by saying that Nicki and Jessie J are probably 2 of the most irrelevant women in the entertainment industry, because Ariana Grande is the queen of the world. I feel like there's always drama with Jessie J and Nicki Minaj. And so Ariana Grande, honestly, like I literally would pay her to like beat me with a baseball bat. I'm just going to leave it at that.
All right. That's your time. Joanna, what do you think of this? What's your take?
Okay. I kind of agree a little bit with Brendan that like Jessie J is a little bit irrelevant. And so I kind of feel like Nicki Minaj is too, but, I was going to say, I feel like this whole debacle, like Nicki handled it super immature, was pretty like ridiculous about it. Jessie J had this interview or whatever. And I think she just like had the facts wrong and didn't know, like that was the story she was told. And then Nicki Minaj blows up on Twitter. I'm like, what the heck? Just like call your girlfriend up and be like, yo, that is not what happened. Let me tell you, right? And then Jessie J can go back.
That's your time. Oh my gosh, the barbs are going to be coming for us today, it looks like. Haley, what's your take on this whole Bang Bang drama?
First of all, I am a barb, so you two saying that Nicki Minaj is irrelevant. She is the queen of rap, so I do have a bone to pick with you two. I think that Nicki Minaj is just sick of people like underestimating her as an artist and like don't know that she's such a writer and she does all like a lot of her own stuff. And she's, it's because she's a woman. So she feels like she has to come in guns blazing. Should she have done it over the internet? Probably not. I do agree with Joanna. It should have been like, hey girly, that's not really what happened, and done it in private. But
that's your time. Here's the real victim, or the real perpetrator, I guess. It's the person who was like, it's been 8 years since the song Bang Bang. Let's talk about it. Who cares? It was 8 years ago. The interviewer, like, I mean, I know you're talking to Jessie J. There's not like a lot there maybe to talk about for the masses, but that's the question. I will say, I feel like Nicki, like you said, Haley, she's been under fire for being like hopping on people's songs. So that might be a trigger for her, as this idea that like she's the song police. She just sits around listening to music and is like, I'm going to hop on that for the money. So I do feel bad for Jessie J though, because someone at her label clearly lied to her. So the person at the label and the interviewer are the real people that I'd like to talk with. Speaking of some more drama this month, OnlyFans. They originally were going to ban sexually explicit content, and now they're reversing that. Was that smart of them? Should they have just stuck to their guts? Are we supporting OnlyFans? What are we doing? Haley, back to you.
I just think that I don't know much about OnlyFans, but what else is there on there besides sexual content? Like that's like a lot of like people make a lot of money. People can make like $1 million in like a month. So I think for people, like it's a good source of income. I think that they should have just not said anything at all. They should just keep doing what they were doing and not even try to change it.
Mm-hmm. That's your time. Hey, Joanna, what's your take on the OnlyFans debacle?
I agree. If that's how they want to make their money and they're making good money, good for them. I'm not exactly sure who it is that is complaining about not getting their money or whatever, but I think they're just jealous of all these women and men that are, making this bank on this website and they want a piece of it.
Brendan, I feel like you have experience with the OnlyFans platform. Tell us what you think of this dilemma.
So from the 1.5 or 2 years that I studied business, it is just basically like BP being like, honestly, we should stop selling gas and just like rely on like potato chips and like pop. So like, it's so dumb. I did read a part of an article where they're like, we want to make it more about cooking. Okay, so you're going to have a dude in his jog strap just like whipping up some eggs like Love Island or something. Like, come on. Honestly, I think it was more for the publicity. And like, he wanted more creators to like, they're like, oh shit, let's take more naked pictures. And then for them to get more money, which in the end would make him more money. He's like, just kidding. Unless he was just on something that day.
That's your time. I got to agree with Brendan with your metaphor for BP saying, let's get rid of the gas and just sell snacks at our convenience store. That's a huge misstep for them. And I wouldn't blame if a lot of creators are saying, you know what, screw OnlyFans. There's plenty of sites where I can share my content for money, and they just dip them. And I think everyone should do that. I mean, that's how I feel, because at the end of the day, they only reversed the ban because they realized, oh, wait a minute, 80% of our content is sexually explicit. This is exactly what happened at Tumblr, because Tumblr used to be the place for your sexually explicit content, and then they banned it, and they went from being like $1 billion company to just millions of dollars. So, I'm not a huge business biatch, but this was stupid, and I think that they should suffer the consequences. To quote Wendy Williams, death to all of them. Moving on to another situation that might be death to all of them. Beep, beep, get out of the way. James Corden and Camila Cabello and the staff of Cinderella pulled a stunt in LA traffic, and Twitter and everyone had a lot to say. Whose idea was this? Is this successful marketing? Brendan, we're going to go back to you.
So James Corden and DW from Camila Cabello, whatever her name is. Honestly, like if it were me, I'm all about like, okay, I don't want to be in traffic, but it could have caused like an ambulance, or like say an ambulance had to go by or whatever, like they would be the cause of the person that died, they'd be the cause of the death. Like, and they should not have to like not be in jail or anything for that. So I think it's a huge safety risk, and I think it was such a dumbass move to make. But if anything, I would have to put it on DW or Camilla, honestly.
That's your time. Joanna, would you have loved this traffic performance? What do you think?
Okay, I watch James Corden all the time. I love his stuff, and this is like one of his things he does all the time, right? He does this like sidewalk Broadway things, and I love that stuff. Okay, if I was sitting in traffic and saw Idina Menzel outside my door dancing, I'd have to put the car in park and like freak out and get out of the car and like dance with her. Like I would lose my shit. Like I'd be so excited if this happened to me. I honestly think the people complaining about this are a bunch of babies and whiners, and they need to shut the fuck up, because that would be amazing. They lived in LA for too long if they think that was stupid.
And Haley, what's your take on the Cinderella traffic jam situation?
Can we make a musical without James Corden in it, please? I love him. Like, I love him. I love his show. I think he's great as a talk show host and like a TV personality. But he was in Cats. He should have learned his lesson. But I do agree with Joanna. I think that it's like a really fun thing to do. And I think that like I would have the same reaction, because he's done it with Harry Styles. So I wish I was there for that. But I don't like Camila Cabello. Sorry to her fans, but I don't like her. I don't know who cast her as Cinderella. Isn't Cinderella supposed to be blonde? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to change it up. Who knows?
That's your time. Imagine you've been stabbed, and there's a pregnant lady in the backseat who's about to give birth, and there's a raging wildfire that threatens to develop your car. And instead of being able to get away, you're stopped because of James Corden and Camila Cabello and Idina Menzel singing around your car.
I feel like if something was that emergent, they would have been like, yeah, like, if there wasn't an ambulance, they would have stopped and let them like go through. I think you guys, that's a little extreme.
It is a little extreme, but all I could think of was like, okay, let's say you're going to be late to work, and if you're late to work, your boss fires you, and you're late to work because James Corden and Camila and Idina, they're all just singing Cinderella. And let me be clear. This is an Amazon Prime original. They have the budget for good marketing. You're telling me this is the marketing ploy of Amazon?
No, it was probably like James Corden's idea.
Yeah, just all for fun. And because like this is something he does all the time.
I just feel like, if it was at the mall, that's one thing. The traffic though, I would have been upset, especially if I had it in my coffee.
Yeah, it should be like a mall, like flash mob, like something like that. Not a what is the highway PCH? Not a PCH dance mob.
Yeah, I just think the location was really bad. That's for sure. And I do agree with Haley. James Gordon needs to take a break from the musicals. It's just too much. Take a seat for a second. Meanwhile, we have some beef. Hashtag prime beef right here. Kanye West versus Drake. Kanye drops Drake's address. Kanye adds T-Pain to the chat. And Kanye has his new album, and now Drake's dropping his album like tomorrow or on Friday. What do we think of this feud? Do we care? Is this old news? What's the ethical dilemma of dropping the address? So much is here. Haley, back to you.
I just have to say that I think that Kanye West needs to be stopped. I hate him. He makes good music. I think that he is like a really, really great artist, but you hear more about Kanye West as a person and a personality more than you actually hear about his music. It's all hyped up and, he's like, oh, drop an album. Then he doesn't drop it. Oh, I'm dropping an album tonight. I don't drop it. He'd be like, guys, I didn't finish it. Sorry. Like, it's just like, I don't want to say like a cat and mouse game, but like, I think he's more of just like, I want all eyes on me. And then like, he's like, oh, I'll do this, but then he never does it or doesn't do it in the time that he says.
That's your time. Joanna, what do we think of this whole debacle? Do we care?
I think it's one thing to debate, like have a debate with someone, pop stars debating over their music and their art and everything. And you have a right to do that. But to drop someone's address, or let's say it was like his phone number or something, I think that's crossing the line. I agree with Haley that he's kind of taken it over the line here. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was in LA a little bit ago, I have been on one of those house tour things, so it's like, I get that like it's a thing to know where they live, but that's just too much. That's a complete invasion of privacy.
And Brendan, what's your take on this whole thing?
I think like Kanye is so freaking crazy. And I think it was for the first thing, I think he overstepped the boundaries when he like pissed all over his like Grammy or whatever it was. And so like, I think tweeting out his address was extremely disrespectful, not just to like Drake himself, but his entire family. And, like there are people like driving their freaking cars onto like, if people have the balls to drive their house onto like the White House lawn or like through the White House gates, they have the balls to literally like drive through his house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think dropping the address, it takes it way too far, even if you're not a celebrity. I will say the worst thing about this Kanye and Drake beef so far has been the Drake album cover of 12 pregnant women emojis. What in the world is that? I know that has nothing to do with the beef, but that's the biggest criminal act, if you ask me. If we want to talk about real ethical dilemma, it is that album cover. I mean, oh God. And it goes to show you can have 1 million listens on your song in the first 10 minutes, but sometimes you can't get taste. I mean, okay. Our last topic, Lizzo. She labels Janet Jackson as the queen of pop, and Madonna fans were not having it. It was a whole thing. Is Lizzo right? Is she wrong? Who do we think the queen of pop is or isn't? Brendan, back to you.
I think the queen of pop is Lorde. So anyone else is irrelevant. Who was it, like Madonna or something? I was like, honestly, I thought she was dead. I didn't know that she was still alive. And then when she popped up at a gay bar, I was like, is that an impersonator? And then who do you say? Jessica Jackson or something? Like
Janet Jackson.
I don't know anything about her. I just know her face is like. And
what?
Lizzo is the queen of everything. That she has been a headliner for like the past 3 years at every single music festival in the world. Although like 2 of those
That's
years.
your time. That's your time. Oh my God. I can't even recover from that. Joanna, do we agree with Lizzo? Is Janet Jackson the queen of pop, or are the Madonna fans right to be pissed?
I think the Madonna fans are right to be pissed. I would be so, to me, Madonna is such an icon. And when I think of Janet Jackson, of course I think pop, but I don't think of icon like I do with Madonna. Also, who gave Lizzo the, ability or whatever to make these claims? Why her claims, she can't, you know, it's whatever. Who cares what she says? It's not like it's law. So I think Madonna's queen of pop.
Haley, what do you think? Lizzo has were points made that Janet Jackson's the queen of pop, or is that a queen of flop suggestion from Lizzo?
I just think it's an opinion. I don't think people really need to come for Lizzo. She was just stating, you know, her point of view. You know, it's just the same as someone saying the best band of all time is like the Beatles or something. Like people will be like, oh, what about, you know, every other band? Like all those guys will be mad too. It's just a matter of opinion. And I don't think that, I don't know, people just like to be mad at Lizzo, which is really unfortunate for everything she does. She just has to like log on and people are like, delete it.
Mm-hmm. I do agree with you there. I think poor Lizzo, she does come under fire a lot from some haters for multiple things. I mean, she is a successful Black woman who's large and proud of it. And that's going to draw some haters. I mean, no questions asked. In terms of Janet Jackson being the queen of pop, I do agree. Opinions are opinions. But I mean, when I think of Madonna has like really laser beamed moments of her career in my head that Janet Jackson hasn't. You know, like when I think Janet Jackson, I think of Rhythm Nation, you know, I think of Rhythm Nation. And that's almost it. Whereas Madonna, you know, I think of her rolling around with the wedding dress. I think of Ray of Light. I think of her with Justin Timberlake.
I think though, like for me, it's the halftime show.
For like, Madonna or for Janet Jackson?
For Janet Jackson.
Well, yeah.
That's one of the most iconic things in like music history. Is that, you know, that halftime
it's
show.
Tough though, because to me that wasn't like intentional. It was an accident. So like she wasn't trying to make a statement with her nipple exposed at the halftime show.
Right.
You know, it'd be one thing if she was like, I'm going to shock the world. And then it'd be like, oh my God, Janet Jackson, like free the nipple, you rock. It was, so I do think of that. You're right. But I think when I think of career, I'm thinking of positives maybe, or like artistic, like that they intentionally did.
Do you think that it could be like because of association, because people qualify Michael Jackson as the king of pop?
I think that's a great point. I mean, when you think of Michael Jackson in terms of people around him, I think you would think of Janet Jackson. And I think the Super Bowl may have actually affected Janet's kind of legacy because she was blacklisted for years following that Super Bowl. And I think our generation, younger generations, because of that incident, we haven't really, like I can't think, when was the last time I even heard a Janet Jackson song? Truth be told, like they're not really played on the radio. They're not really played at the grocery store. So I wonder if that for me, is why it doesn't really ring a bell as much as maybe for someone like Lizzo. Who knows? So like you said, it's an opinion.
That, Madonna, like, could it be just because of the way I grew up and what my family played? Like, I didn't hear much of Janet Jackson until I got older and was discovering things for myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of factors here. So last time we met, Joanna won first place. So far, Joanna has one win. This week, Joanna, you got 26 points. Haley, you got 27 points. And Brendan, who started off kind of rough, 28 points. Brendan, you are the rich panel member winner of this week.
Yes! What? Remember, I've been on this show 12 times. Are you kidding me?
Yay, Brendan!
12 times.
Are you serious? Oh my God, bitch, I won.
You are so spicy. Half your comments, I feel like we're going to get some hate mail. This video is going to get so many dislikes because of what you said today.
Brendan,
but
the barbs are going to
so
come
good.
for you.
Yeah. Your address. I'm going to leak your address. Kanye style.
He changes it like once
I
a
live
year.
on 250 West Norwich Avenue.
Oh my God, girl, don't spill your address for the 10
Oh,
viewers.
that's my address.
That's Haley's.
Oh my God, don't spill Haley's address. Barbs, don't come for Haley. She defended Nicki.
No, I am a barb.
Don't
Nicki
come for
need
her.
a rap.
I swear, anytime we mention Nicki Minaj or Mariah Carey on the show, someone says something that gets people pissed off in the comment section. I'll tell you that right now. Oh my God, what another spicy battle. Rich panel. We'll see you next month. So far, we got Joanna with one win, Brendan with one win. Haley, next time, you got to bring it.
I know, I guess.
All right, well, we'll see you then. Till next time, peace out.